2023, we are moving into a new year, inheriting a pretty difficult market. However, in this whole chaos, there is always opportunity for the best. In today's video, you're about to watch a replay from a snippet of one of the weekly live coaching sessions I had with my clients, where we covered the success blueprint of NFT projects in 2023. Make sure you watch the whole thing and take notes, because I can assure you there are nuggets of gem at every stage of this video. I will see you on the other side. Gentlemen, I've united all of us today. The pretext of this conversation was for us to go through the marketing strategies for next year. But the reality of things is that was a lie. I'm starting a cult, and all of you here are going to be the first founding members.
How many NFTs am I getting?
Sure thing. If I'm gonna send you my
No, so really, we're in the final weeks of December right now, and we're inheriting, all of us, a pretty difficult market. Really, we've been in this market. It's been over a couple months now that we are in a downward trend. Although there's no sign for things to pick up, one advantage that we have right now is that over the last couple months, we now have enough statistical data for us to try to kind of have an idea over the types of NFT projects that have been working in the NFT space. And those are the projects that have been selling out and making the 1 million and above mark. And really, as someone who breathes, lives, only thinks about the NFT space, really, I've started to notice a pattern. And that is what I wanted to cover in today's video. The next era of NFT projects are going to be shaped by some of the observations I have in today's presentation that I have ready for all of us. Over the last 3 months, every single NFT project that has succeeded in this space had something in common that I noticed. Just to name a couple of the projects that we're going to be looking at, right here we have Valhalla, $5 million sellout, KPR, $2.5 million, Art Gobblers, Utes, QQL by Tyler Hobbs, probably a label, Toys R Us and Anybody's, and Hugo Boss. So really what I'm noticing is that all those projects right here, they are all falling into one of those 3 innovation buckets that we have right here, without any exception, literally. And each one of those buckets represents a different way projects are positioning themselves in the NFT space. Right now, buyers have become a lot more difficult. They've become a lot smarter than they used to be. And projects are choosing to position themselves in one of those 3 buckets. The first bucket that we have is that they are building technological innovations in the space. The second one is projects are building branding innovations. And the third one, projects are deploying partnership innovations. And partially all of those projects right here, they've all had one of these elements. So let's look into each one of those. What does each one mean? And how is that something that because each one of you here is an NFT project founder or is working on an NFT project. What is that we can learn from whatever it is that these projects are doing? So in terms of technological innovation, let's look at this. So this is what we call builder projects. And those are the projects that are differentiating themselves in the NFT space by basically creating a technology that has never been seen or done before in the NFT space. So they're differentiating themselves via the technology and software innovations that they are creating. And instantly, when a project positions themselves as a builder project, they are able to instantly gain not only the trust, but the respect of the NFT space. And this was actually popularized by Azuki in the first place. Azuki with their ERC 721A, one of the first big project that came in with a large technological innovation in the space, and all of a sudden got people in the NFT space talking about them. Same thing we've seen happen a couple of weeks ago with Art Gobblers, where they created something called the ecosystem that they built with their token Goo, and how they created new technology that basically how would you say that? That regulates the supply and demand curve of their NFT issuance. I'm not gonna get deep into that, but the fact that they've developed that with research and development, and even went so far as to publish that on Gitbook. So anyone that wants to replicate their ecosystem can go out there and basically replicate what they've built and apply that to their own ecosystem. And that in and of itself helped them gain the trust and the respect from the community. Another project is QQL. And of course, this is a project by Tyler Hobbs, probably the highest selling artist in the NFT space. However, even Tyler Hobbs, who wanted to make a secondary collection, understood that he couldn't just launch another 1K collection of images. And instead, what he created was a new interface that allowed people to create their own art, and then whenever they liked whatever piece was presented to them, they could connect their wallet and basically mint that piece. And that was something that was never seen before, and that's how they were able to differentiate themselves and now have a floor price of about 15 Ethereum. So that's for the technological innovation. That's how we're seeing projects differentiate themselves. Another type of project angle, innovation angle projects are taking are branding innovations. And that is how projects are branding themselves in a unique way never seen before in the Web3 space, therefore sparking the curiosity and attention of the community. And you guys saw this coming, the example of KPR Verse. Just with the website of KPR, how were they able to create a new standard in the NFT space never seen before? And this, literally KPR guys, I have to tell you, KPR has nothing special going on for them. They're a metaverse project in one of the most saturated industries out there, one of the worst performing industries. Their art is pretty in par with every other blue chip project. Their marketing is pretty average. The only thing they had going on for them is this branding innovation that they brought to the table. Therefore, setting a new standard over what does a successful NFT project website look like, a new level of storytelling. I have heard from someone that has worked with the company that worked on the website of KPR that their website costed about $150,000. So innovation, branding innovation does come with a cost. Another example is the Utes application process. We've all seen that one. They took something that was pretty niche, a pretty niche way of doing things in the NFT space, which was the application process. They took that and they made it a core part of their strategy. And they commercialized and popularized the entire application meta. They started the application meta and they were the first and even went far enough to actually create an entire ecosystem around their application process. Therefore, celebrating anytime someone would get Ute listed. They were the first to do that. And now we can't just, well, whoever does the application process, all of a sudden is building on top of what Ute set in place for us. So it's not that special anymore. Another example is, and that is a pretty self-explanatory one, is when projects are positioning themselves as novelty. So a new chain that most people have not experienced before. So all of a sudden, even though Aptos Monkey have absolutely nothing special about them other than the fact that they are an Aptos, just the fact of them being on this new chain that is interesting, exciting, that people wanted to explore, all of a sudden set them apart in terms of branding. And I know right here in this call, there's a couple people that are building on alternative chains, and I think this could be a great opportunity. So just being on a different chain all of a sudden creates that branding innovation. And Starbucks, final example about the branding innovation. What I love about Starbucks and why I'm very bullish about them is that these guys, they're not even trying to sell NFTs to NFT buyers. These guys are going complete 360 and they're only introducing NFTs to their existing audience, to people that have never interacted with NFTs, that have never been in the space, therefore creating the novelty effect. If Starbucks were to come to any of the 100,000 people that are active on NFT Twitter every day and propose an NFT to us, we're gonna be like, that's not special, because we've seen that before. But all of a sudden, by being able to tap into its Web 2 audience, therefore they're separating themselves and they're creating something that is novel and exciting. So that's for the branding innovation. The third one, and that's an exciting one because I do think that is the one with the highest entry. If we're able to pull this off correctly, this could set your project apart and put it in a direction that is incredibly bullish and incredibly exciting. And this is what we've seen with projects that are acting as launchpads for larger brands or partners entering the space. So this is where what we've seen with Valhalla. Valhalla, what they had with their Sentinels partnership. So for those of you who don't know, Sentinels is one of the biggest esports team out there. And Valhalla is positioning themselves as being the gateway for esports in the NFT space. We've never seen a partnership or a collaboration happening on a large scale with the esports. And Valhalla all of a sudden has positioned themselves as the bridge between esports and Web3. And anyone who comes in after in the esports category in Web3 won't have the first movers advantage that Valhalla did, for instance. Another one is probably a label. And that's something interesting that I want to mention because probably a label is a partnership between Warner Records, which we all know of, but probably nothing, which is basically a team of Web3 people that are helping onboard Web2 companies like Warner Records into Web3. And Warner Records does not have the know-how or the skill set to go into Web3, but probably nothing does. And this is how they've positioned themselves. And this is how a team of project founders at Probably Nothing were able to sell out their first collection, which was probably a label, for over a couple $1 million. They were able to do that by acting as the bridge helping Warner Records come into the Web3 space in a smooth and efficient way. We're seeing that again with Toys R Us. This is a legacy Web2 brand, even Web1, and it is a partnership with Anybody's. And none of us here have heard of Anybody's, but these guys are killing it because they are acting again as the bridge bringing people into Web3. And finally, Hugo Boss and Imaginary Ones. Again, Imaginary Ones, they've built their entire business model around helping those specifically luxury clothing brands enter the Web3 space. So really, ladies and gentlemen, if we are to recap a little bit of the 3 ways projects are positioning themselves in the NFT space. The first path is they are building technology to gain the community's respect and trust right off the bat. Second way they are doing things is by creating a brand experience via branding that has never been seen before in the NFT space and in the Web3 space. And finally, they are acting as partners or onboarding large brands and celebrities into Web3. And right here, I know very well the profiles of all the different project founders and all the different projects that are on this call. And I can see how instantly I can think how each of the different projects that we've had the chance to work with in this call, how each one of you can position yourself as in one of those directions and take advantage of that and basically stack all the odds in your favor moving into 2023. I don't think we're ever going to see the hysteria we've seen during the bull market. Any project with a random roadmap and random art selling out, I don't think we're ever going to see that again. Right now, the projects that are winning are the ones that are able to pull off one of the following 3. And this is where, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to set the stage for your question specifically.